Welcome everyone. Today's video is about the Naac Student Satisfaction Survey. This will be a video in which I'll be talking about the Student Satisfaction Survey, which forms an important component of the Naac accreditation process, assessment and accreditation process. So as we are aware of, our college is going ahead for the Naac re-accreditation cycle 4. So this re-accreditation will be as per the new assessment and accreditation framework designed by Naac. So this framework, difference with the earlier framework is that there is a paradigm shift from qualitative peer judgment to quantitative evaluation. Means this whole process will be critically dependent on quantifiable and verifiable data which will be submitted by the institution. So 70% of the final score will be system generated after the verification of data submitted by the institution with documents, and 30% only will be from peer judgment. So in criteria 2, as I said, maximum weightage out of 1000 for the whole process. Weightage for criteria 2 is teaching, learning and evaluation is 350. And from this criteria 2 again, we have the metric student satisfaction survey, which is one of the metric having the maximum weightage in this key indicator again. So the student satisfaction survey is very important to the whole process of Naac accreditation. So what is the student satisfaction survey? Let's try to look into it. I'll just go through the slides, few points that we need to understand. So this is a survey conducted by the Naac among the students of a higher educational institution as a part of the Naac accreditation process. So it's conducted directly by the Naac among the students. So the institution as such does not have a direct say on this survey. So this survey is aimed at looking at the teaching, learning and evaluation process in the higher educational institution from the perspective of the students. How the students feel about the whole teaching, learning and evaluation process that is there in the institution. Whether they are satisfied, that's why it's called the student satisfaction survey. Whether they are comfortable with the whole process of teaching and learning and the evaluation. So it gives the students an opportunity to have their say in the assessment process and contribute to the quality improvement. So if you go into the Naac manual and the guidelines for the student satisfaction survey, one thing is very clear. It's clearly stated that as a part of the survey, the students can not only give their suggestions for improvement of the institution, but they can also put in their criticism. So this survey, therefore, gives the students an opportunity to rate their institution, how they feel about it. So how does the process go? Let's look into it. So this whole Naac accreditation process rather starts with the filling up of the online institutional information and quality assessment, IIQA. This can be done any time of the year. That shows the intention of the institution in going ahead for the assessment process. So once we fill up the IIQA, a timeline of time limit of 45 days is given, within which the institution has to fill up the SSR, self-study report. Along with the SSR, we have to upload all the documents supporting the quantitative metrics. So we are talking about metrics, qualitative metrics are there and quantitative metrics are there. We have to upload verifiable supportive documents for each of the metrics. And along with that, during the filling up of the SSR itself, the institution has to supply the data of all the students, bona fide students enrolled in the institution. So data in the form of email, phone number, Aadhaar number, the degree they are enrolled for, etc. So simultaneously with the data validation and verification process, so DVB process is conducted by a third party which verifies the data and the documents supplied by the or uploaded by the institution. So along with that, Naac will conduct the SSS. How they do it? The Naac will send an online link to the survey in the form of a questionnaire directly to the email of the student provided, which they have to complete and send back within a specified time limit. Now, the thing is, the institution will upload the data for all the students. As per the new manual, somewhere it's mentioned it's 50% of the students minimum. We have to upload the data. And out of that, Naac will randomly choose a certain number of students and send the link to their emails. How it is chosen? We can't leave out any, even first semester students, because they give equal weightage when they choose the sample of the students to which this questionnaire will be sent. It's based on different streams, different classes. They give priority to all these so that all sections of the students are represented and the link is sent directly to the email of the students. So the institution may not know to which student this survey link has gone to. So for UG and PG colleges, at least 10% or 100 students, whichever is less, needs to respond. From among the total number of students, data which have been uploaded, and the total number to which the link has been sent, at least 10% or 100 students, whichever is less, needs to respond. So maximum of 2 survey attempts will be initiated to reach the desired level response. Let's say during the DVB process, Naac initiates the student satisfaction survey. So in the first attempt, this target of the minimum required is not reached. Naac will then make 2 more survey attempts to reach the desired level of response. If the desired level of response is not reached, then the metric will not be taken up for evaluation. It's not only that the institution will lose out points, it also reflects on the fact that students are not being the primary stakeholders in an educational institution. They do not want to be a part of the assessment process, which is aimed at improving the teaching, learning, and evaluation or the academic ambience of the institution. So this will reflect poorly on the institution as a whole. So the total entries should be same as that marked in the institutional information and quality assessment. Means the number of students whose record is sent during the filling up of the SSR for the student satisfaction survey should not vary with that which is filled up while filling up the institutional information and quality assessment. One important point, the students will remain anonymous throughout the process. Means the institution or anyone, we can't make out which student has participated in the student satisfaction survey of Naac. They will remain anonymous, and Naac, they will not disclose the names and identity of the students. So, the basic thing about this student satisfaction survey is the questionnaire. It forms the important component, or is the questionnaire itself which brings in the response of the students. So let's look into it, what this questionnaire is all about. It deals with several facets of the teaching, learning, and evaluation process. It consists of 21 questions in total, of which 20 are objective, multiple choice. One question is open-ended, where students can give 3 suggestions, observations to improve teaching learning experience. It's written as suggestions and observations, but in Naac 1 guideline is given for the student satisfaction survey, where they are saying they can put forward constructive criticisms about the institutions, what they feel about it. So the first major component of this questionnaire deals with specific skills of the teacher, like subject knowledge, communication skills, class preparation, use of ICT tools. So the first part of the thrust of the questionnaire questions is on these parameters: the skills of the teachers, what the students feel about the subject knowledge of the teachers, their ability to communicate, how the teachers prepare for the class, and whether they use ICT tools or not. The second major component is the overall approach of the teacher and the institution with respect to providing the right environment, motivation, interpersonal relationships, feedback, etc. So second part of the questionnaire or the questions, they deal with these parameters. What the students feel about the overall approach of the teacher and institution with respect to their overall growth, whether they are motivated to build on their strengths, whether they are able to identify their weaknesses, whether they are encouraged to develop their overall skills, soft skills, life skills, etc. The responses to the objective questions are scaled on a scale of 0 to 4. Most positive response being rated as 4 and the most negative response being rated as 0. So for the objective questions, analysis is done using a software. System will generate a score, and for the subjective or the open-ended question number 21, analysis is done to find out the most common suggestion and observation about the institution from among the students. So this analysis is shared with the peer team, which will visit the institution. So what it basically means is that the student satisfaction survey, it enables the peer team to have an idea about the overall academic ambience in the institution. So weightage for the SSS, the student satisfaction survey, may be 60, but it may have a direct impact on the whole assessment process. So let's look into the questionnaire, what basically it is. So this is exactly how the questionnaire will look like. The National Assessment and Accreditation Council Student Satisfaction Survey, Key Indicator 2.7.1, under Criterion 2 of Teaching, Learning and Evaluation. So guidelines for the students. The Naac is conducting a student satisfaction survey. So this is the initial information. This is general information from the students. Please confirm that this is the first and only time you answer this survey. Yes or no? Age, college name, gender, what degree program the student is pursuing now, what is the subject area that they are pursuing, arts, commerce, science, professional, other. Instruction to fill the questionnaire. All questions should be compulsorily attempted. Each question has 5 responses. Choose the most appropriate one. The response to the qualitative question number 21 is students' opportunity to give suggestions or improvements. He can also mention weaknesses of the institute here. Kindly restrict your response to teaching learning process only. Students are to write only about the teaching learning process, nothing else. So this is the first initial information from the students. As we can make out, nowhere the name of the student is being asked. So it is anonymous. So let's look into the questions. Following are the questions for online student satisfaction survey regarding teaching learning process. Number 1, how much of the syllabus was covered in the class? If it is 85 to 100, mark it as 4. 70 to 84, mark it as 3. 55 to 69, 2. So the scale is 0 to 4. Most positive 4, least positive 0, below 30%. How much of the syllabus was covered in the class? So this is something which is very clear. The students will accordingly mark in the scale of 0 to 4. How well did the teachers prepare for the classes? This again is something which the students are matured enough to decide whether their teachers prepared for the classes. How well were the teachers able to communicate? Preparation for the class is one thing. We as teachers may prepare very well for the class, but communicating with the students, communicating the subject knowledge to the students, that is another thing. So this again, whether the students feel that the teachers were able to communicate. So always effective 4, very poor communication 0. So it will vary from 0 to 4. So overall, question number 4, the teacher's approach to teaching can best be described as excellent 4, poor 0. The overall approach to teaching, subject knowledge, preparation for the class, communication with the students, maybe how you carry yourself inside the classroom, all these factors will come in when the students decide about the overall approach of a teacher to teaching. 5, fairness of the internal evaluation process by the teachers. So here, specifically mention internal evaluation process. This has to do with the evaluation. When we take class tests, we take sessional tests, assignments, and we mark the students whether they feel that this process of internal evaluation is fair enough without any prejudice as per their merit. So if they feel this is fair, always fair 4, unfair 0. So this the students will decide. Question number 6. Was your performance in assignments discussed with you? When we give an assignment, or maybe even the test that we take, when they are marked, do we discuss, as teachers, do we discuss the performance of the students with them. If they feel every time it is discussed, they will give 4, never 0, rarely 1. So this again, it's for the students to decide what they feel about it. Number 7, the institution takes active interest in promoting internship, student exchange, field visit opportunities for students. Whether the institute takes active interest in promoting internship, whether students they are encouraged to go for internship, maybe as a part of the curriculum or otherwise, or maybe in some cases when the students they come showing their willingness to go for some internship program, whether the department or the institute encourages them. We can talk about that. Student exchange with other institutes with which MOUs are there, where the student exchange takes place. Field visit opportunities for students. If the students feel that it's done regularly, they will mark it 4, never is 0. Question number 8. The teaching and mentoring process in your institution facilitates you in cognitive, social, and emotional growth. So whether the students feel that the teaching and mentoring process in the institution helps them in their cognitive growth. Cognitive growth, as a person of physics, what I can think of is whether the teaching learning process in the institution helps them to develop their thinking skills, helps them to develop their knowledge and problem solving techniques. So that is cognitive. Social growth means whether they are given the knowledge and ability to deal with others in the society as an individual or in groups. Social skills. Then emotional growth means whether they learn to manage their emotions. So what the students feel, whether the teaching and mentoring process in the institution facilitates these kind of growths, cognitive growth, knowledge, skills, etc., social and emotional growth. So if they feel that the teaching learning process in the institution has significantly contributed, they will give 4, not at all, 0. So it's not only about subject knowledge, but it's about the overall development of a student. The institution provides multiple opportunities to learn and grow. When we talk about multiple opportunities to learn and grow, what I understand is, apart from the classroom teaching and learning, whether they are given other opportunities to learn and grow, say through co-curricular, extracurricular activities, that can be one, then involvement with different clubs, groups, etc. So all these can come into that, whether the institution provides multiple opportunities to a student to learn and grow. If the students strongly agree, they will mark 4. Strongly disagree, it's 0. So they can mark anywhere between 0 and 4. Question 10. Teachers inform you about your expected competencies, course outcomes, and program outcomes. So this is about whether the teachers tell the students or inform the students what they should be able to do after completing a course, or what is expected out of them. As regards the desired knowledge, skills, and overall personality of the students, that can be competencies, course outcomes, and program outcomes. Program outcomes are a bit general in kind. For a science student, whether they develop the program outcomes can be critical thinking, problem solving. Course outcomes are more specific to the topics that are being taught in the class from the syllabus. So basically, whether the teachers inform the students about the expected outcomes, what they need to learn and develop during their course of the stay in the institution. So this question is about that. Question number 11. Your mentor does a necessary follow-up with and assign tasks to you. So whether a follow-up is done with any assignment that is given to a student. We may not have a formal mentoring system, but as teachers, all of us are mentors. We always talk to our students whenever they face any problem, or they come to us with their problems and we try to solve it out. That itself is a mentoring process. This is more academic in nature in this question. If we feel after an assignment is given to the students that we need to talk to him or her regarding his or her drawbacks and how he or she can improve. So that is a follow-up we are talking about. So if a student feels that the teachers does that with them every time, they will mark it as 4. So if they feel I don't have a mentor, if they feel they don't have a mentor in an institution, they will mark it as 0. Question 12. The teachers illustrate the concepts through examples and applications. So this is something in the classroom setting or otherwise, whether the teachers illustrate the concepts through examples and applications. If they feel every time it is done, they will mark it 4, never 0. These questions are self-explanatory. 13. The teachers identify your strengths and encourage you with providing right level of challenges. So this is about identifying the strengths of students. If in a classroom, I feel that one of my students is above the average, he's very strong in problem solving, and is capable of doing very well, then do I give him the required challenges? For example, in physics, if I see that some of the students are very capable of solving problems, do I give them problem sheets from some competitive examinations, ask them to solve them, and come back to me, providing the right challenges after identifying their strengths? That can be a simple example. Then 14, teachers are able to identify your weaknesses and help you to overcome them. This is again straightforward. If I feel that some of my students has some weakness in some particular topic, then am I able to identify that weakness and help the student to overcome them? If the students feel that teachers do that every time, they will mark it 4, never is 0. The institution makes effort to engage students in monitoring, review, and continuous quality improvement of the teaching learning process. This question is about taking feedback from the students regarding the teaching learning process. So if we take feedback from the students, ask for the suggestions, how to improve our teaching learning process. Maybe it's not a formalized feedback. Informally, we do that in the classrooms. We always ask for the feedback of the students, how we can improve our teaching learning process. So if the students, they feel that they are made a part of the monitoring, review, and continuous quality improvement of the teaching learning process, if they strongly agree, 4. If they strongly disagree, it's 0. The institute teachers use student-centric methods such as experiential learning, participative learning, and problem-solving methodologies for enhancing learning experiences. Experiential learning means learning through experience. So this can be kind of field visits for science subjects. It can be even lab classes, they become experiential learning. They're allowed to make models, or for art streams, they go somewhere and learn through experience, kind of outreach programs, they're made part of it. This can be some examples of experiential learning. Participative learning, kind of group discussions, presentations, or you can have assignments where the students study themselves, find out the answers to some questions, and problem-solving methodologies, these are student-centric methods which will enhance the learning experiences. If the students feel that these methods, apart from the normal classroom teaching learning process, if these methods are used to a great extent, then they will mark it 4. Not at all, it will be 0. 17. Teachers encourage you to participate in extracurricular activities. If they strongly agree, 4. Strongly disagree, 0. Otherwise, in between. Efforts are made by the institute teachers to inculcate soft skills, life skills, and employability skills to make you ready for the world of work. What the students feel about it. Soft skills can be interpersonal or communicative skills. Life skills can be actual skills which can help a student in his or her life. Employability skills, particular skills which can make you ready for the world of work outside. This can be, employability skills can be kind of add-on programs, or let me say in physics wise, we can talk about electronic circuit designing. If they are given exposure or opportunities to inculcate or to imbibe these skills as a part of their stay in the institution, during their stay in the institution, if they feel that the institute or the teachers, they take efforts to imbibe these skills in the students, then to a great extent, 4, not at all, 0. So Accordingly, the students will make the decision and mark this question. What percentage of teachers use ICT tools such as LCD projector, multimedia, etc. while teaching? Self-explanatory. If it is above 90%, if the students feel that almost all the teachers they use, then they will mark it for. Below 29%, it's 0. The last objective question, the overall quality of teaching learning process in your institute is very good. What they feel about the overall teaching learning ambience in the institution. If they're very satisfied, being the student satisfaction survey, if they're very satisfied, if they're happy being in the institute, strongly agree, they will mark it for agree 3, neutral. They can't decide, they don't know, it's 2, disagree 1, and strongly disagree. They're not satisfied at all, they're not happy being a part of the institution. They will mark it 0. So these are the 20 objective questions. Now the 21 is open-ended question. Give 3 observation suggestions to improve the overall teaching learning experience in your institution. These will be 3 suggestions or observations. Can also be criticism, loopholes, or weaknesses the students feel that is there in the institute. So it's left to them, it's kind of a descriptive question. So what is the importance of the student satisfaction survey? Throughout, I've been talking about it, how it is critical to the whole accreditation and assessment process. So the Naac considers SSS to be a direct indicator of the effectiveness of teaching learning in the institution. So it is a direct indicator, of course, because the primary stakeholders of an academic institution are the students. And therefore, their satisfaction is primary and their feedback becomes primary, and it reflects almost 100% about the effectiveness or about the academic atmosphere that exists in the institution. The final institutional CGPA, the grade point that will be awarded to the institution, is calculated based on the scores obtained from 3 sources. The scores obtained on the SSS being one of them. What are the other 2? The other 2 are, first is the score generated from the quantitative metrics, which is based on the DVB process. Quantitative means data is uploaded, supported by documents, verified, and the system will generate a score. That is the first source. Second source is the peer team visit. Peer team will come and verify basically the qualitative metrics where the institution describes about the different parameters that are there in the metrics. So the peer team will come and verify what the institution has written, whether it is true or not. Second score comes from there. And third important score that is taken into account to calculate the institutional CGPA is from the SSS, the Student Satisfaction Survey. That's why SSS is very important. So we can simply say that overall it is a pointer to the academic ambience of the higher educational institution. So it becomes critical to the whole Naac accreditation and assessment process.